2025 is shaping up to be the craziest year for VA disability benefits that we've ever had. And this continues as veterans are now worried that Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, as part of the Department of Government Efficiency, may actually cut VA benefits. It sucks, doesn't it? Does it suck? Does it suck?
Just right there. May actually cut right there.
Okay. May actually cut veteran benefits, including VA disability, due to veteran fraud. I've even heard notable figures talk about maybe close to 50% of veterans receiving a disability, there may be fraud involved. Let's talk about this today and unpack what really may be the issue and what could actually happen here in 2025. I'm Jordan Anderson with VAClaimsAcademy.com. Let's go. So let's start with the obvious question first. Are there veterans committing fraud in order to obtain a higher VA rating than maybe what they would deserve? The answer is yes. Everyone knows that, right? It's just to what capacity and what percentage really of veterans. Well, I can tell you in my experience helping thousands and thousands of veterans with their own VA disability claims, talking to thousands of veterans on the phone, in my experience, more veterans, many more, are actually downplaying their symptoms than embellishing them. There is a mindset, essentially, and you've been through it most likely, especially if you're, Gulf War veteran. Typically, my older veterans have this mindset still to this day where, hey, you shut up and color, right? You don't go to sick call. You don't complain. You don't whine. All of this still carries with you to this day where still it's difficult for them to even speak about the things that are plaguing their everyday lives, let alone to a total stranger on the day of their VA claim exam. But, it's even difficult for them to speak to me, someone in their corner. But is that really the problem here? Or are we falling for the bait by even discussing this issue, which is something very loud, right? It's very loud when a veteran, and you see it happen occasionally, where a veteran's claiming, to be housebound and can't get out of bed, but meanwhile, they get caught doing something crazy. That's very loud. It's embarrassing to veterans. But what you don't see is the everyday waste, the everyday inefficiencies that happen at scale with some of these agencies. And I think that's exactly what is potentially going to change a lot coming up here with Elon Musk and Vivek. We've seen in the past, I've made a video on this, where Elon Musk has, for instance, bought Twitter and done some radical changes where he laid off essentially 80% of the staff. Now, I'm not saying that, I don't think that they're going to do that to the VA and whatnot, but what this is indicating that, yes, this is going to be the biggest splash that the VA potentially has ever seen, and some big sweeping changes might occur. So it makes sense why veterans are a little uneasy, thinking, hey, are my benefits going to be safe? Especially with this narrative that is passing around where, hey, maybe half of veterans are committing fraud. I want to sort of, again, dispel that and say that, again, the majority of veterans are actually doing the opposite, downplaying their symptoms, making it, infinitely harder on themselves to win their VA claims. Think about it this way. The discourse largely around VA claims is what? You've heard people, hey, it takes so long, the VA denies all of my claims, it's so difficult to get approved. It's not a bunch of people, celebrating a lot of times on these forums, especially you look at Reddit, a lot of the free forums, there's a lot of disappointment in the air where real veterans with real ailments caused during service who embodied the mindset of service before self. I'm not going to complain right now. I'm injured. I'm going to keep pressing forward for my brothers in arms and for the service. And then once they have gotten out, they've served honorably, they're now looked at like, hey, you know what? You might be a liar. I don't actually believe you. That type of betrayal is something that we definitely don't need to continue to propagate. Even if there are a select, very few who are committing fraud, the fact that there's a lot of people who actually are injured, who actually do have these service-connected ailments, who feel like liars is more than enough to stop that there. Look, I think it's a little convenient that this narrative is blowing up because here's what they don't want you to talk about. Most of the fraud, most of the waste rather, in this process happens at the Board of Veterans Appeals level when you have multiple years going by where essentially a lot of veterans think like, hey, they're just waiting on me to pass away, essentially, where you're stuck in this appeals court process just to finally, if you do win down the line, you have 1/3 of your backdated pay wiped out by some VA attorney. And all of this is costing lots of cash, right? It's costing a lot of time, a lot of your stress, a lot of your effort. And oftentimes, the majority of times, these claims don't even need to be in the appeals process. If Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy really analyze the VA disability claim system and how it's structured right now, with your, free VSO being swamped, they're great people, they want to help you, but they're absolutely swamped. It's a system issue. And then them referring you to, hey, we filed a bad claim on your behalf. Sorry, we're swamped. Now you need to go to the appeals court process. No, you don't. You need to file a good claim to begin with. What does that take? Quality education to the vet and some streamlining of the claims process. That is it. That is what we should be focusing on, not about these little small case instances, these fringe instances. This needs to be a systemic approach to this big issue. And that's exactly who I think may happen, what exactly may happen here. Because Elon Musk, if you've seen what he did in Twitter, it was a systemic overhaul, a systemic sort of redo, and that could happen in this upcoming year of 2025. So whether you think that this will turn out well or whether you think that it's going to turn out not so well, the only thing that I believe here is that it's not going to continue on as normal. This is either going to be turning out really, really well for veterans or really, really disastrous because radical change is coming. What is not happening to me is continuation of the status quo. So it makes sense why we're a little uneasy. Sort of the winds of change are definitely about to blow. But again, I do not think that your, veterans' benefits are in jeopardy. As a matter of fact, a lot of these changes that are pending right now, I'm talking about the mental health changes, the sleep apnea changes, taking away tinnitus as its own standalone claim. Some of these changes that were proposed maybe a year ago or so that haven't yet taken effect, those could actually be in jeopardy too. Those changes, a lot of veterans are saying, and I kind of agree, most of them don't really benefit us veterans. The old system has it how it is right now, typically is a bit more friendly to veterans, and that could change as well. Fellow vets, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Sound off down below what you think about this. We've had a roller coaster ride of a 2024. 2025 is going to be 10 times that. So be safe this New Year's, and until next time, cheers.